All right, in this episode, we are going to react to a scene from Suits. I've never watched Suits, so.
I just started because my assistant Alyssa is very into it.
Driving a cab isn't glamorous, but it's an honest day's work. Ever since I started, I looked forward to a time when I could tell customers that they were riding in my cab, that I was an owner-operator. So I scrimped and I saved until I finally had enough put away to buy a medallion. But because of the actions of these men, I've lost that opportunity. So make no mistake, this trial is not about a busted headlight. This is a trial about a broken dream.
If we get the case, they're gonna make him president.
Statements are like free throws. Easy. Nobody's playing defense.
We're all equally.
Are we good at defense?
You would agree.
So, opening statements aren't evidence. Generally, you don't object unless the other side goes really off the rails. It's their chance to tell a story, create a narrative of what they think is going to happen in the case. He's right, it is easier. Nobody is blocking your shot. This is just your pre-rehearsed time to tell the judge or jury, this is what I think is going to happen. Here's what you should be ready for. I think this is what I'm going to prove. And since that's not evidence, you can tell your story and the other side won't say anything.
And it can be more based off of emotion and
Absolutely.
Than like facts, I guess, right? I
Yeah,
mean, you're using facts, but you can use emotion versus when you're in the trial, it's more just straightly about the facts.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is you're creating a narrative. You're laying down your theme. You're preparing everybody for what's about to happen, but anything you say isn't a fact. It's not evidence. It's not that it's not a fact. It's not evidence. This isn't what the jury's going to be deliberating on. You're not proving anything. You're just setting the scene.
Gotcha.
Preferred drivers cause more accidents.
Objection, badgering.
Sustained.
Objection, argumentative. Leading the witness. Ambiguous, privileged, inflammatory.
Sustained.
What's inflammatory?
Just to enrage the jury.
Gotcha.
And so this is a good example of you can go to court pro se, but should you? If there's an attorney on the other side, they know the rules, you don't. And there's a lot of rules. We go to school for 3 years to figure out these rules. So if you're going to come to court unrepresented, just know the other side is probably more prepared than you. You can. You have the option. And I used to go to small claims court a lot in Alabama because I've had a wild career. And one time there was this pro se man who, representing himself, there's an attorney on the other side. He's doing great, crushes this attorney, comes over at the end of the trial when it's ruled in his favor, high fives the attorney next to me and walks out. And I was like, what just happened? And the attorney next to me said, that man has been coming to court for a month now. He's been studying, he comes up, he asks me questions. He learned how to prove his case so that he could be victorious. He couldn't afford an attorney, but he had time to come sit in.
Oh my gosh, like a mini law school.
Absolutely, yeah, and it worked. That attorney was shocked, as I would be as well.
But most people don't do that. So.
Yeah, I don't recommend it. If you can hire an attorney, absolutely do that because
that would be hard.
What time had you called for the limo on the morning of the accident?
We were supposed to leave at 8:30.
And what time did you get to work?
Objection, irrelevant.
It's highly relevant, Your Honor. It speaks to the psychology of the driver, Raheem Benghazi.
Overruled. Answer Mr. Santana's question.
8:40. So unless Mr. Benghazi made up for that lost time, you were going to be late for that meeting, correct?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
When the accident occurred, you were on your way to the medallion auction. When and where was this auction to take place?
9 a.m. City Hall.
According to the police report, the accident occurred at 8:53 a.m. That means you only had 7 minutes to get downtown in rush hour traffic.
Objection, irrelevant.
I believe when I made the same objection, you told His Honor it was highly relevant.
Overruled.
So of what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If the reason you think that they are breaking the rules is because they are running behind, that their state of mind is important, that they were going to be late to something, and the judge allows that, you can't then think that testimony won't be allowed against you, because your state of mind is going to be allowed in as well. So it's interesting he thought that he could ask, but the other side couldn't. So generally, the scales of justice like to be balanced. So if you get something, I get something.
It's a good term. I like that.
You were running late, only the stakes for you were much higher, weren't they?
These things never start on time.
Then why was the first medallion sold at 9:03 a.m.? You were scared your chance at a medallion was going up in smoke, and you ran a red. Then you used the accident to paint me and Ray Benghazi as a couple of scapegoats.
You can't prove that.
What color was the light?
I take the fifth.
You can't take the fifth, Mr. Santana. This isn't a criminal case. What color was the light?
He cut me off.
You claim to love our legal system so much. Answer the question. What color was the light? What color was the light?
He doesn't know.
Oh, he does.
Your Honor?
Answer the question,
I don't
Mr.
recall.
Santana.
I don't recall.
We can't lie.
It just meant so much to me.
What's happening?
So, reminder, this cab driver brought the suit himself, and he knows the light was red, and he was at fault. So, I don't think in real life he would have been honest on the stand if he were willing to do this. This would be a frivolous claim. He knows he's bringing improper litigation.
Yeah.
So that's not great.
Your Honor, can I sidebar with opposing counsel?
We can roll the dice with the jury, but I'd rather settle.
How much do I have to pay?
Nothing. You take responsibility for the accident, and your insurance company makes Ray whole. In return, I waive my right to collect legal fees.
I don't know what to say.
Don't say anything.
It is always possible to settle a case, even in the middle of trial, as long as it hasn't gone to the jury. So it does happen sometimes that, we've seen how the evidence is going to play out. One side is like,
we're going to lose.
Right.
Take the deal.
Yeah. We call.
Yeah.
We're all folding. Some poker reference. I don't know. So this part can happen, that you can, instead of sending it to the jury, you can say, we'll work it out amongst ourselves. It's very generous of this attorney to do what he's doing, because clearly this man's in the wrong.
But also, wouldn't this be like back in chambers, not in front of the jury? Like sidebarred like this, so like open?
I think we're supposed to believe that they're sidebarring to where the jury can't hear. Depends on how big a courtroom is. I've been in some where you can sidebar, and as long as there's no microphone, the jury can't hear you. So that's possible.
Okay.
I feel like it'd be more likely that the parties would say, Judge, we need some time to ourselves. I guess discussing a potential settlement in front of a judge is not normal.
Yeah.
Settling, it's normal. In front of the judge, he doesn't want to be a part of that. He doesn't want to hear, what if one side's like, oh, absolutely not? Or
Right.
So no, you don't. The judge doesn't want to be in that, and you don't want the judge in that. But
Yeah, this just seems like a little weird.
it is weird. It is weird. This show is weird.
Do you think that the attorney talked about it with his defendant, with his client there beforehand, like for that? Or do you think that's just bad practice if he didn't and just offered this settlement? Or
Very bad. So this one's extra messy, though, because this attorney and the other attorney were in attorney, because he's not a real one. Oh, Suits is messy. They're all in the same car together. So absolutely, this is a good point. You can't settle a case without discussing it with your client. So that part is not correct. But I think this attorney is paying like out of his own pocket, but yeah, he absolutely he needed to discuss it with the client first. So that's some Hollywood magic there.
Hollywood magic.
That goes for you too, Judge.
That happens all the time in court. People's phones going off. Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy. Silence your phone.
Keep your phone on silent.
The judge will get mad.
Oh my God. And the lawyers and everyone. It's not okay, guys. Also, don't pretend to be a lawyer. Just the general Suits story. Because that one guy's not actually a lawyer. He's just pretending to be. I don't know if
Right.
you know the basics of suits.
I know that much. That's about it.
Yeah. Well, and the attorney knows that he's not an attorney, too. So he's
Okay.
also...
So what you're saying is I shouldn't go to court and pretend to be an attorney.
You absolutely should not. It's a crime. Yeah.
Good legal advice.
I'm only in like season 2 of Suits, though, so I have no idea what happens.
All right. Well, I'm sure we'll do more of these as you continue the series.
I'll keep you up to date.
Take notes on what's not actually like allowed in court, which is probably most of it.
Yeah, this show takes a lot more liberties than it looks like Matlock does, and some of the other ones that try to focus on what really happens. But a lot of what happens in court isn't exciting and sexy. So
right, and takes more than 40 minutes. So
yeah.
What do you think currently or in the past is the most accurate TV show as far as like court?
Ooh, I feel like Good Wife was a good one. As always, the cases go too fast. It's like you hire me as a client, we go to trial next week. That shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
I guess it's possible you've had your case for a minute and then hire me. But I feel like they try to pick a rule, tell you an episode about it, some obscure legal issue, and follow the rules generally. And then also similar to that Matlock episode, she was out of practice for a while, came back, and you get to see how hard it is jumping back in to like learning how to lay foundation to do a trial. So I appreciated things like that.
Yeah.